Ooh, that's pretty close to the hole. The proximity is coming up right here in the corner. So 5 feet, really good shot. From 100 yards, I'm really starting to get dialed in. Hey, right after this, I'm gonna give you a little quiz that I think is gonna lower your scores. Everybody likes lower scores, so you better stay tuned. Hey, thanks so much for supporting my channel. I hope you'll head over to hititlonger.com, click on the Pro Shop, and check out some great endorsed products that I think are going to improve your game. So when it comes to proximity to the hole, when I quiz most of my students, they are way off in their assessment of what PGA pros do on average. Let's see how good you are at this quiz. How far does the average PGA pro hit the ball from the hole from 75 to 100 yards? Think about it for a second. So do you think it's about 5 feet, 10 feet? Do they average 15 feet or more? Well, the answer is 17 feet. Between 75 and 100 yards, the average guy on tour hits it to 17 feet. Raise your hand or leave a comment down below if you thought it was a much smaller number. All right, let's move on to 100 to 125 yards. What do you think the average proximity is? Do you think the average is 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, or 25 feet? All right, raise your hand if you got it right. The answer is 20 feet. Average guy on the PGA Tour hits the ball approximately 20 feet from 100 to 125 yards. Is that number still bigger than you thought it would be? Did you think they hit it more like 10 or 12 feet? All right, how about 125 to 150 yards? I bet you're starting to catch on now. The answer there is 23 feet. 23 feet is the average proximity on tour between 125 and 150 yards. From 150 to 175, the average proximity is, what do you think? It's 28 feet. 28 feet from those distances. Now, 28 feet is starting to maybe miss the green from these distances if the flag is near an edge or if it's a smaller green. And moving up again, the average proximity from 175 to 200 yards is, make your guess now, pause the video. All right, the average proximity there is 34 feet. So that's probably still a bigger number than most of you expected. 34 feet on average from 175 to 200, which again, draw a circle 34 feet in radius, and you'll find that a lot of these shots are missing the green. So with these distances, even the pros are gonna have to hedge their bet and aim a little bit either towards the center of the green or maybe towards safety away from the flag or away from trouble. Now, one last category, 200 yards and above. What do you think the average proximity is? Guess now. It's actually 51 feet. So 51 feet away from the hole on average when they're playing a par 3, 200 yards or more, or coming into an approach, maybe on a par 5, 51 feet. Again, this is going to miss the green, probably 50-60% of the time. Again, this means that strategically, these guys on TV are simply very good at aiming away from trouble and aiming to safety, which brings us to the lesson in this quiz that, of course, you should not expect to be hitting the ball on average as close to the hole as guys on TV. Now, if you're, say, a single-digit handicap, you might add, 50% on all these distances. Now, what does that do for your strategy? It means that about 150 yards, you're probably averaging somewhere between 35 and 40 feet from the hole. Some of your shots will be better, some will be worse, but this means that going for flags that are not in the middle of the green is probably a bad idea. Even if you're a 5 to a 9 handicap, you probably, from 150 yards, need to hedge a few yards towards safety, away from your weak points of your game, like bunkers, away from hazards, and maybe away from the short side. So you never want to miss short-sided and give yourself a really difficult up and down to where you might make a mistake and make a double. Now, if you're a double-digit handicap, if you're a 12 to an 18, or maybe you don't even break 90 a lot, you might double those estimates. So from 150 yards, you might be averaging 50 feet away from the hole. Plus your standard deviation might be bigger too, because you might miss-hit it more often. Sometimes you're going to knock it in there 10 feet once in a while, but other times you're off to the right, off to the left, short. And again, you need to take this into mind. You're going to draw about a 50-foot radius circle around a map of a green, like a topographical map, and you start including in all the different bad places you may end up. Now, if you could take that same circle and reposition it to where hardly any of your shots are going to get you into trouble. So if the flag is maybe tucked in the right and there's a deep bunker on the right, and you maneuver that 50-foot radius circle over to the left and maybe short of the green somewhere, well, you're going to help yourself avoid a lot of big numbers and get a lot more steady bogeys and maybe some pars. So once you know how far or how big your circle is for every distance or maybe every club, it's going to help you strategize, and it's going to help you aim a little bit more accurately for your ability. There is no shame in aiming away from the flag to safety, even aiming away from the green to safety, by either laying up short of the trouble around the green or missing it completely off the green to one side to avoid the trouble on the other side of the green. There's no shame in that. Golf is all about being steady and avoiding the big number or the big mistake. All right, I'm going to go back to grooving my wedge game and my 150 and in game, because I know that's going to help me shoot lower scores. I also want to figure out what my tendencies are. Do I tend to miss it to the right, short, long? I want to be able to dial in distances and figure out how far back I need to swing with each club to get it about 5-yard increments. Luckily, I have a TrackMan at my disposal, but if you don't, make sure you've got some kind of target on the range to aim for. Jot down or record on your phone where you typically tend to miss, and when you go out into the course, you'll be able to make the adjustment. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I will see you longer and straighter down the fairway and closer to the pin too. Everybody take good care.